You know what I mean?
Do you also think that potentially this could work the other way around, meaning that human beings, since we've been subjected to, at least in the Western world, almost 1700 years of Christianity and so forth, that the reason also why they might want to pick a logo like this or have this message in the logo is that on some level this speaks to our unconscious. So people who are inclined to lean towards the Christian faith, for instance, are actually in some way kind of lured in by these kinds of symbols, and consequently they.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing that I'll draw upon later is that how this works with more than just Christianity. Because if ISIS has many identifications, and she's got an identification as the angel Gabriel and the all-seeing eye and stuff.
Yeah.
But when we talk about this New World Order and the one world religion and the one world government, the angel Gabriel is the one figure that can unite Islam and Christianity, because both of them adhere to her as God's messenger.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at implementing this New World Order, it's got to be something that combines these two religions. And that particular figure is that thing that can combine those religions. I'll touch on that in a bit, anyhow. It gets deeper. I'll be telling you all it is in a minute.
Sure. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. I'll give it a bit of time. I'll give you another 10 minutes.
Sounds good.
And I'll let you know who it is. But anyhow, moving back to the Olympics logo and the Zion logo and the 2012 and stuff. Basically, there's a little bit of research. There's stuff on the net about this as well. The company who created that logo was a company called Wally Ollins, and Wolf Ollins is a brand agency. And this brand agency was set up by a chap called Wally Ollins, and this man was responsible for branding corporate Europe. So basically, GE Capital, all these logos that have kind of, sunk into the subconscious of sorts. These are all created by this man called Wally Ollins, who created the 2012 logo as well. And it turns out his dad was a Freemason.
Nice.
So the chances are that there's an interview online where he references his dad trying to get him to be a Freemason. He never actually says whether he is or not, but the chances are it's in the family. And, there's these messages in the logos that this man's produced. It's a Freemasonic branding, company for corporate Europe.
Yeah. Wow.
Essentially.
Really interesting. Sorry, yes, I wanted the name there again. Wally Ollins, is that right?
Wally Ollins.
Right, yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Wallyollins.
Perfect, thank you.
Right, and so at this point, you've got this connection to Freemasonry with the logo and stuff, and it moves much higher than Freemasonry. That's just like the outside protection for this stuff. I basically loaded up, Google Earth. Wanted to have a look at the London site from the air. I wanted to see, what it is that's so special about this place.
Mm.
And it just so happened that the particular site in Stratford was the only last bit of wasteland that was that was left vacant in London. It was the one last place that they could do things for something like the Olympics. So it's quite lucky that they had it in the first place. And what I noticed was I started looking at the actual street plan of this place. And to go through it, you've got a number of roads that circle the site. And the first road is a road called the Eastern Cross Route. The East Cross Route, which is a reference to the Eastern Cross. The Eastern Cross is an Orthodox cross, and it's a modified version of the Patriarchal cross. It's got two smaller cross beams across the side. The next road down, you've got Carpenter's Road, which encircles the site. Carpenter, who was a carpenter? Oh, good old Joseph.
Yeah,
he
of
was
course.
a carpenter, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Next road down, you've got a road called the Great Eastern Road. And obviously when you refer to something as the Great Eastern, it's obviously like the Great Eastern Star. So you look into the Great Eastern Star. It turns out that the Order of the Eastern Star is the largest fraternal organisation in the world that both men and women can join. Yeah. And it was founded by someone highly connected with the Freemasons. And their symbol is the pentagram. So this is the next road down.
Yeah.
Moving on around the Olympic site. If you envisage we're encapsulating the whole Olympic site here, the next road along is Angel Lane. And obviously the famous angel is the angel Gabriel. So we've got Angel Lane here. Next road along, we've got Temple Mills Lane. Temple Mills, where the watermills belong to the Knights Templar.
Yeah.
So another connection there. The Knights Templar were the poor fellow soldiers of Christ in the Temple of Solomon. And then encapsulating all of this is Church Road. It's obviously another biblical road name.
Yeah.
So all the way around the Olympics 2012 site, which you could call Zion if you go with the logo, is biblical road names surrounding the whole site. There's not one road name that's not biblical. So you start looking at that and you think, what the hell is going on? Because this site was supposedly a fluke that they found this, and what we're looking at is something that is clearly quite well planned. So if you move into, like, for instance, there's one road here that's called is the East Cross route is called the A12. It's another road name for it. And if I move into, say, for instance, hieroglyphics for a start, hieroglyphics back in the days of ancient Egypt, they were seen as talismans, in that a particular hieroglyphic didn't mean like one letter, like a H. It meant a multitude of emotions. It meant a multitude of meanings. And it basically, it drew in the powers of the stars. That's what a hieroglyph was. It was a talisman.
Yeah.
It wasn't a direct translation. So, like, for instance, when they do a direct translation of the Rosetta Stone, you can't translate hieroglyphics into H, A's, and Z's and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So basically, if you think of this idea of hieroglyphics as talismans, power of the stars embedded in this symbol, if you want to call it that, and then everyone assumes that the English language moved on from that, and that our letters just meant letters, just to spell words out, and that there weren't symbols at all. But the fact is that if you look into the idea that the power control in Egypt never died out, and they've been endemic to the power structure from the very start, the letters on the English alphabet are just as much hieroglyphs as the hieroglyphics were, the talismans.
I agree,
so
yeah.
If you look at the letter A, for instance, you've got a pyramid with a capstone, a capital letter A.
Yeah.
And then if you look at an S, you've got a snake. And then if you've got like a dollar sign, you've got a snake rising up what could be a kundalini or, a DNA coil, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But basically these letters have got meanings behind them. And so this main road that cuts through the Olympics 2012 site, which is called the East Cross Road, is also known as the A12 road. Now there's hundreds of A roads in Britain. And so what are the chances that of all the roads that cross through it were an A12 road, a Pyramid 12 road? Do you see where I'm coming from with it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Very interesting.
It's pretty strange that one road, this is what I'm saying, coincidences, this is a load of rubbish that this is coincidence. It's not coincidence whatsoever.
No.
And then you look into the situation of where it's situated in London and Eastern London, and you'll find that it's in two areas. It's separated between Leighton and Leytonstone. And I don't know if you're aware of what a ley line is, but basically...
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, if you look into this, the Olympic site is bang on where two lane lines cross over. So we're on about something that's connected to the energy grid of, the world, like the lifeblood of the earth, if you want to call it that.
Nice.
Interestingly enough, before when they commenced work on the Olympics 2012 site as well, I mean, I got this information off a chap on a message board, but he basically said that they'd organised a massive rave on the Olympic 2012 site, in which no doubt there's a lot of government-sponsored drugs out there and a lot of energy being given off. And if you think about these energy lines, and they're inviting people to have raves on these sites, alongside holding some of the biggest competitions in the world ever, think about what's happening with all that energy. Where is that going? It's probably being fed into the system somewhere. And I think that's I mean, there's a lot of for instance, as far as UFOs are concerned and stuff like that, if you look into UFO sightings and stuff, a lot of them can be attributed to being near ley lines and stuff, because obviously a UFO isn't necessarily something that's definitely fixed in our particular 3D world, something that could be obviously of another dimension of sorts. But basically, you've got this Zion street map that's fully biblical in every way, and you then decide. Well, I decided to pick up the Bible. I don't normally pick up the Bible. I'm not that type of person, but basically picked up and went to the book of Mark, and I decided to go to the chapter 11, verse 11. The old 11:11.
Yeah.
We got this passage here. Then Jesus went into Jerusalem and into the temple and looked around at everything. Since it was already late, he went out with his 12 disciples to Bethany. So we've got a mention of Jesus entering Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Which is obviously Zion's the New Jerusalem. And it says that since it was already late, he went out with his 12 disciples to Bethany. Right next to the Olympics 2012 site, down a Roman road, is a place called Bethnal Green.